going on, Islander fans? Welcome to another period of Isles Talk here. I am your host, Paul Kreischer. Gary Harding may or may not be joining me this evening, and Joe Panettiere is still resting up, so we hope the both of them are doing well this week. We'll probably have them back at some point soon. So, listen, boys and girls, this is your show for the most part. We're going to catch up on Islanders news, stories, whatnot, and I'll be taking your questions basically for as long as you want. And I'm also going to go into what I usually do when it comes to covering the Islanders, literally mid July here, July 19th, 2023. Um, Not going to lie, I'm happily surprised to see what the Islanders have been doing, re signing all the players. I was looking at the numbers, and for those of you who don't know, I was in the psychology field now, 20 years, research and then some. And what I try to incorporate the psychology with the hockey is that I take a look at the numbers that I have. I have my own little system. I've been doing that for a while now, but there's a lot of emotions that comes out of those numbers, and I'm going to explain that. And I think I already have a theme for next season when it comes to uh, this upcoming season. So, first and foremost, uh, let's talk about real quick Oliver Wahlstrom re-signing. 1 year deal. It's his qualifying offer. Listen, guys, I wasn't really surprised. He's been injured. He's put up some decent numbers, but he got injured all of last season. And I think the Islanders really need to know whether or not he's going to be ready to play. So, bringing in Gaucher, Julian Gaucher from Ottawa and the Rangers was a good move. Uh, Oliver can sign, that deal whenever he wanted. You know, Tomorrow, could have signed it yesterday. He had until December, but there was no rush. Okay, he's still on injured reserve. And until he's actually ready to play, and again, I'll get into the numbers here. The Islanders don't need Oliver Wahlstrom to start the season. I agree, Matthew. It's a prove it year for Wally, but I'm going to go over the numbers for you guys. The Islanders don't need Oliver Wahlstrom right now. They absolutely don't, at least to start the season. But I think if you want to save your power play, I think you're going to have to, eventually ease him in. So Oliver Wahlstrom signs that qualifying offer. The hope is that he's ready to play. But do the Islanders really need him at the start of the season? No, they don't. They really, really don't. But good on Oliver getting that signed. And I'm going to tell you right now, boys and girls, if he's ready to play, and there's no, shall we say, rust coming back from, a lower body injury the way he had, he's going to be a big factor for the Islanders this season. Could he take him over the top a little bit? Yeah, there's a possibility. Yeah, but again, recovering from that injury may take a little longer than what some fans may want him to do. And you got to look back to Anders Lee. Anders Lee also had injuries to his leg as well. Took him a little while before he got back into the groove. But yeah, Oliver Wahlstrom, I think you're going to see a better second half from him, and I think you're going to see a really coming out party for him in the playoffs if they don't trade him. But we'll get it. If you want me to get into those trades, I'll get into those, hypothetical trades with you guys later on. But that's Oliver Wahlstrom. We can continue to talk about Oliver Wahlstrom a little bit later on, but we're going to get moving here. Islander signed Jakob Skark, 2-year deal, both two ways. Look, boys and girls, I've said this before. Bridgeport's defense overall was not great. He didn't have a lot of great defensemen in front of him. At the same time, his consistency was not great as well. For me, Jakob Skark needs a minimum 35 games. 35 games minimum in Bridgeport with a better defense in front of him. Now, what I like this year, oddly enough, is that the kids, Bridgeport got younger. Bridgeport got younger, including their coach. And for me, if it's a younger crowd here in Bridgeport, I'm thinking the Islanders are going to allow more shots on Jakob Skarek. And I'm not going to lie, I think I want that. For those of you who have seen the Mighty Ducks, I want Jakob Skarek tied up to a goalpost like Goldberg was, and just let those shots come at him. I don't think Jakob can see enough rubber. Uh, you know, I want to see a lot of rubber at him in order for him to really develop that confidence, to get his timing down. Because I think if he ever makes that jump to New York, even on an emergency basis, that'll be the best defense he's ever had in front of him in his life. And I think at some point you'll see him in the NHL. But consistency for him is the key. I like that two-way deal. I don't see anyone claiming him this season. If he can really show something, maybe you can worry about next season. But for now, I think he clears waivers. I hope he sees a lot of puck. And honestly, guys, for now, if Bridgeport makes the playoffs, it'll be because of Jakob Skarek. It's the same deal with Ilya Sorokin being a major factor for the New York Islanders getting into the playoffs. Jakob Skarek's going to be a big reason why the Bridgeport Islanders will make it to the playoffs this season as well. So, I like this as well. Good vote of confidence in Skarek by Lou. He'll get a little more time. That's a possibility. I don't mind it. And again, moving along with that right now, Rick Kowalski. Rick Kowalski right now has been the new Bridgeport head coach, and I want to put this out there now for fans. Brent Thompson was not fired. He got the assistant coaching position over in Anaheim. Congratulations to him. You're going up to the NHL again. But for a lot of people who don't know, Greg Cronin was part of the Islanders staff many, many moons ago, and Brent Thompson was a part of that. The Anaheim Ducks are literally going to be a development NHL team. Brent Thompson is a perfect assistant coach and candidate to help out those young defensemen, especially Jamie Drysdale. Okay, I think Brent Thompson's going to do a very good job over there. Now, moving back over to Rick Kowalski. Look, I don't want to say if it were me, it's not about me. I, as a fan, probably would have preferred to see someone like John Hines or Scott Gordon. My initial thoughts or hopes were Jeremy Colliton. I was kind of hoping to see the Islanders hire an AHL coach who has had some NHL coaching experience, so then he can really raise the bar on Bridgeport. On the flip side to that, okay, I think Kowalski, if he can really get everything together, if he can get Bridgeport to the playoffs, if he can get Bridgeport beyond the first round, could you see a replacement, a future coaching replacement in his career? Yeah, in his future. Yes, I think you can. I think if you can develop these younger players, get them into the playoffs, get them past a few rounds, I think he would be a coaching candidate at some point, whether it's with the Islanders or somewhere else. So Rick Kowalski gets a shot. He, like Thompson, has not been able to get past the first round in the American Hockey League in the Calder Cup. So, Bridgeport overall got younger. We'll see where that takes the kids. We'll see where that takes Kowalski. At this point, it's a hit or miss. I'm not gonna lie. How many games did Noah Dobson play? Not many. Adam Pelech didn't spend a lot of time there, although he was there with Thompson. Robin Salo is still there. He's doing okay. A lot of it really isn't on Thompson. It's the players. Okay, you're playing professional hockey when you're down in the American Hockey League. That's it. You're playing professional hockey. You're one level before the National Hockey League. It's up to the players. And this has been, I've said this, people who have been covering the AHL have been saying this, scouts have been saying this. If you want to make it to the NHL, it's up to the player. The team is like, here, this is how we want you to play. We know you can do this. It's up to the player to get themselves to the next level. It's not always on the coach. And that's very definitive when you see Coach Thompson now in the NHL as an assistant coach. Okay. So at this point in time, we'll see where Bridgeport goes. So again, it's young. We're talking July 19th. Anything can happen, especially around training camp. Who knows who we sign? Who knows who we trade for? Waiver wire, whatnot. It's still young. The season's very young, July 19th. So, also really quick here, folks. Congratulations to Johnson Ellie and Stan Fischler for their induction into the New York State Hall of Fame. Guys, I don't know why Stan is not in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I just don't know. Um, you know, Stan's been around, we all know, for such a long time. I got to meet him a couple of times. He's actually signed one of my books. It's a big encyclopedia book that he helped co-wrote. Stan, for me, belongs in the NHL Hockey Hall of Fame. Or in the Hockey Hall of Fame, excuse me. There's no NHL. So, yeah, Matthew, we're going to get into that a little bit. We'll get into the moves for you. Another one we really didn't talk about yet. Pierre Turgeon. Pierre Turgeon finally gets into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And listen, I'll leave it up to you guys. Leave your opinions in the comment section. I'll post them up here. Does Pierre Turgeon's number 77 belong up in the rafters at UBS Arena? I'm going to go yes. I'm going to go yes. For what he did with this team? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think Pierre Turgeon should get his number up in the rafters. I think he'd enjoy it. I think it'd be great for everybody. And you know what? I think it would also be great if we could bring back some of those members from 93. Why not? That's Pierre Turgeon was a big factor, whether he played or not. He was a big factor in the Islanders dethroning the Pittsburgh Penguins, who were on the verge of going a 3-peat. If the Islanders don't beat the Penguins, the Penguins probably 3-peat. I don't know about opening night. Maybe when Pittsburgh shows up. Or you know what? I would do it this way. Turgeon was captain of the Montreal Canadiens. I would have his number retired when Montreal comes to town. That's what I would do. When Montreal comes to town, we'll find out the schedule. The Islanders should raise number 77 to the rafters when the Montreal Canadiens come to town. But after the Hockey Hall of Fame. After the Hockey Hall of Fame is done, then bring Turgeon over the next time Montreal shows up. I think that would be a very classy move by the Isles as well. Yeah. So, and listen, I was trying to get a picture before. I didn't get it. I almost did it again. Zach Parise. I've been saying JP all day. Zach Parise. Two-time now Bob Nystrom winner. And here's my question for you guys. Again, comments, leave them all over the place. If you're a multi-winner of the Bob Nystrom Award, should you go in the Islanders Hall of Fame? I'm going to go yes. I mean, Matt Martin's a 6-time winner. Claude Lapointe's a 3-time winner. If Zach Parise comes back and wins a third one, should Zach Parise go into the Islanders Hall of Fame? I think so. Who are the others to do it? You're such a jerk. All right. This is why I don't like having friends come on. They love teasing, they love testing me like this. Okay, so Dan Plant, Franz Nielsen, Kyle Poso, Matt Martin 6 times. Uh, like I said, Lapointe did it 3 times. Sutter did it. Brent Sutter did it once. Who else? Um, Kevin Colley and a bunch of others. Something like that. No for Parise. Okay. Even if he wins the Bob Nystrom Award 3 times in a row, I'm trying to legitimize this trophy more and more. That's what I'm really trying to do here. No, and I agree. All those other players that I mentioned, they're only one-time winners. Your multiple winners right now are Parise, Martin, and Claude Lapointe. Martin's got 6. I'm hoping the identity line gets their own shrine in the Islanders Hall of Fame. But let's go. Let's go with the Claude Lapointe margin here. You're a 3-time winner. Should you go into the Islanders Hall of Fame? I don't know. It's up for debate. Matt Martin goes up to the rafters? No. The Islanders Hall of Fame. Islanders Hall of Fame. No. Parise's number's not going up. His number's not going up to the rafters. But you could put in what if we did Parise? What if we did JP and Zach together? Put them both in the Islanders Hall of Fame. Put them in that family category. Would you guys be okay with that? JP Parise, overtime goal winning series against the Rangers. Part of those original teams, and now Zach's here. Again, if he comes back, wins a 3rd Nystrom trophy. I say yes, put him in the Islanders Hall of Fame. Why not? Stro, I knew you were going to bring that up. Yeah, I know. At least we can make it up to him. But, it's just a question. Again, healthy debate here. It's a fun debate. It's July 19th. No one's going to get their names on the up to the rafters. I think you can still make a case for a couple of those dynasty players to have their names up on the rafters. Somehow Ken Morrow's not up there. Hockey Hall of Famer, collegiate winner, I believe, Olympic gold medalist, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. It's all he's done is win. Granted, he's a defensive defenseman, but again, winning's winning. It's tough there. So that's that. Just wanted to go over that. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I usually do during the offseason when I'm looking at the Islanders. I don't do much with the other teams just yet because it's middle of July. What I usually do, and now I can do it now that the COVID seasons are pretty much done and over with. I try to take a look at the last 3 years of the team, their seasons and whatnot, and I try to establish a baseline of where this Islander team is. So, for example, 2021, with that last COVID season, the Islanders were on pace for 104 points. The 22 season, they ended up with 84, but again, that was a weird season, messed up schedule, COVID again, new arena, yada, yada, yada. They dropped down almost 20 points. This past season, they rebound. They make a few in-season moves, and they're back up to 93. Well, it just so happens that basically the last 3-4 seasons, the Islanders have been averaging 94 points a season. And that's my baseline, boys and girls. That's what I start off with, January 19th, right now. 94 points. So my question to myself is this team going to be better than 94 points? And this is where I look at the team as a whole. And what I do every season, and again, I only do this with the Islanders now. I do every other team in August when I get really, really bored. I make up a 19 skaters and 2 goaltenders on purpose. Everyone it's a 21-man roster on this team. And I'm looking at the numbers right off the bat. And what I do is that I take all the regular players that are signed. They have to be signed. They're not on injury reserve or anything else like that. And what I do is that I take their overall averages. And for those of you who are new to the show, welcome. But for those of you who are new, I play the percentages. I have been playing the percentages since day one of the 2008 season, when I first started blogging, when I first started working with Gary, everything. I've always played the percentages. Okay, so a couple of things I do. I take the overall percentage of each player in terms of goals scored, and I take that through the entire season. Through an entire season. Absolutely, Brian. There's no doubt about that. But now, this is where I come to decide whether or not 94 is where the Islanders are going to be. It's the plus minus. Are they going to be above 94? Or are they going to be below 94? Okay, so, hold on here. Don't let me lose you yet. And I take all their potential throughout their entire career. If they were to stay healthy and play 82 games and their percentages, what are they going to give me? Okay. For the Islanders right now, it's 247 goals. As a team, 247 goals. They racked up just around 242 last year. That's fine. Okay. But what I also do, I try to balance things out now, because this is not a rah type of thing. Oh, the Islanders are making the playoffs. No, I want to know how the Islanders have been doing the last 3 seasons, and I've been doing that now. I've been doing that now for the last 10 to 15. And the reason why I do 3 is because I have found that most players tend to stay 3 years, maybe 4. And then you also have your entry-level contracts, which are also 3 years. So I take the 3 years of that from each player. And lo and behold, it's 201 for the entire team right now. 201. Is there a middle ground? Yes. There is a middle ground, because let's be honest, even with this team, I can't see them scoring only 201 goals. Can't see it. So there's always that middle ground. So what I've ended up doing here, and remember, we had that shortened season. We finished up with that shortened season. So I had to compensate to where they are. The middle ground for this team is 245. Okay, so even with injuries, even with the COVID season that we had before, the Islanders, should they stay relatively healthy at this point, is 245 goals. Now, for those of you who have been following me, when the Islanders score 240 goals or more, They have an 80% chance of making the playoffs. Okay, now I want to add this. This does not include Oliver Wahlstrom. I have Oliver Wahlstrom as injured because he's injured reserve. Does he have a lower body injury? Yes. Do we know it's a leg injury? Yes. Is he back with the team yet? Not yet. Is he still recovering from it? Yes. So the Islanders, for me, are on pace to score 245 goals with the players that they currently have. But we're not including Oliver Wahlstrom yet. That also does not include Zach Parise. I don't have Zach Parise in here because he's also an unrestricted free agent. So, what do I see happening? Absolutely, Brian. No doubt. Absolutely. But again, give me a moment. We'll talk about the goaltending because that's where everything's going to balance out. Let's have fun here because it's July 19th. If we are to send Ross Johnson down to Bridgeport, who else are we sacrificing? Julien Gauthier probably becomes the extra forward by season start. And you can bring in Wahlstrom, you can bring in Parise. And you're probably adding, again, with those two players over the last 3 years, you're adding about 30 goals. You're adding about 30 goals from Wahlstrom and Parise. And you subtract the 6 goals from Johnson and Gauthier. Guys, this is a minimum. This is a minimum 260 goal team with what they have right now. You need at least 250. Matthew, I think you're going to get it. Yes, I think Holmstrom should start in Bridgeport as well. I agree with that. 260 goals. What does that tell me? Do I think the Islanders are going to score 260 goals? Not July 19th. But when I take a look at the numbers here, if the Islanders stay relatively healthy, I can see a breakout season coming. As a team, I think if they all get it together, the Islanders offensively could break out. So yes, the Islanders are coming back with the same team in September from April. But this team in April is far better than the team that what we just had in September. So now let me go down to the defense. Okay, yes, everyone's scoring left and right. No doubt. No doubt. Semyon Varlamov, the last 3 seasons, 2.5 goals against, 917 save percentage. Has not done that lately. He's been a little bit on the higher side. I'll go along with that. I'll go along. Oh, Brian, what's your definition of a breakout number? What's your definition of a breakout number? Is it 250? Is it 260? Is it 270? And then I'll let you know if it's realistic or not. And this is where I'm coming from, Strom. 240 goals gets you 3 goals a game. The problem is the Islanders didn't start doing it until the end of the season. 260 plus. I'm going to have fun with this, Brian. 260 goals plus. That's the baseline. That's my baseline this year. That's my baseline. That's my hope. This is what I'm looking at July 19th. Oliver Wahlstrom's not in my numbers at the moment. Zach Parisi's not in my numbers at the moment. I'm looking at 245 goals. Barzal missed 25 games. The last 25 games of the season, we still made the playoffs. Oliver Wahlstrom missed half that season. The Islanders made it to the playoffs. Ilya Sorokin, going back to the goaltenders for a moment, 2.34 goals against average. So combined, they're 2.4. There's your baseline. No on 275. Would love to see that, no doubt, but there's a reason why I don't want to see 275. There's a reason why I don't want to see that high of a number. Sorokin's save percentage would be 924. If the Islanders, again, relatively healthy through the numbers, the Islanders themselves, the goaltenders, would only be allowing 176 goals. Nasty, nasty numbers. Oh, wait. Is that correct? Yeah. What am I missing here? H27. Yeah. 176 goals. But that's not a complete season. So let me go into that. If I include the 18 goals a year that they give up on empty netters, the Islanders are only giving up 215 goals for the season. Okay. And again, for those of you who have followed, when the Islanders allow 217 goals or less, they have made the playoffs every time. Every time. Tikkanen, not sure yet. Who's going down to Worcester? Again, not sure yet. Appleby is probably one. They may let Tristan Lennox go to Worcester to start the season. Who knows? I agree with this, Dallas. You get a healthy Palmieri, any kind of 17 goals or more from Palmieri and a healthy season, and he continues to do what he does in the playoffs. Mwah, beautiful. Beautiful. And Horvat, I'm going to go yes. Yes to everything. Yes to everything. So, yeah, going back to my goaltenders real quick. 215 goals. Is it doable? Of course. Have they done it before? Of course. You got it. Yeah. See, this is why I love having you guys on. You're all right. Barzal right now, and you guys are going to hate me with this name, but right now, Barzal is reminding me of Tim Connolly. Okay, for those of you who are a little too young to remember Tim Connolly was an Islander prospect who racked up 15 points, roughly 35, 40 points, sometimes 50 points in 60 games. Okay, he was almost a point per game player until he was traded to Buffalo for Michael Pekka. And he wasn't really playing much for the Islanders. He ended up playing for Buffalo, who wasn't that great, and he ended up being close to a point per game. That's who Matthew Barzal is kind of reminding me of. Matthew Barzal has got to start putting up points, goals. 17, 22 goals, that's fine. Anything in the 20s is fine. Brian, I'm going to add to this. And this is where I'm going to bring back Oliver Wahlstrom. For me right now, Oliver Wahlstrom has a chance to cement himself as a top middle six forward. I think at some point he's going to get second line minutes if Kyle Palmieri really gets injured again this season. I do. If Kyle Palmieri has a has an injury-free season, Wallstrom's got to step up his game and do whatever he can on that third line. If you want your power play to improve, if you want your power play to improve, Oliver Wallstrom has to be a part of it. And I'm gonna take this one question off of Facebook that was delivered here. Explain to me how the power play is going to be improving from last year's dismal effort. Health, number one. These guys have got to stay healthy. That's all there is to it. For me, Oliver Wallstrom, you lost about 9 or 10 points from Oliver Wallstrom on the power play alone last season. The Islanders' defense also they came up a little short on the amount of points as a team. Noah Dobson continues to improve, and I will say this again, I think you're going to still see a better season out of Noah Dobson, even defensively. Ryan Pulock, to me, I don't want to see the 102, 103 mile an hour slap shot. Give me a decent slap shot, or even more like a pass. Just put the puck in play. Put the puck in front of the net. Let Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, even Oliver Wallstrom, let them get the dirty ones in there. Let them get the dirty goals in there. If Ryan Pulock can rack up 10 points, 12 points on the power play alone, look out. Look out. If the Islanders can mold their power play to anything to what Carolina does, look out. Look out. And the other key to this power play coming up, believe it or not, there's two things. Stop that drop pass that they always do in the beginning, because it's telegraphed. Every team now knows that they do it. That's number one. Change that design up. Number two, communication. And this is going to start at training camp. As of right now, John McClain has not been relieved of his duties. So if Lou is done with his research, it seems to be more of a player thing than it is a coach. So the players need to communicate to figure out what they want to do on this power play during training camp. Are they going to spend a lot of time with it? Probably not. For those of you who already know about Lou, Lou's more interested in 5-on-5 than he is power play. Yeah, it wasn't useless until it became, telegraphic. I know I got you on ranting. That's what I do. I'm good at that. And Jam Span, I'm going to elaborate on this. Sebastian Aho, I know a lot of you guys don't want him on the team. Sebastian Aho and Noah Dobson's point totals started going up after Bo Horvat showed up. After Noah Dobson ended up scoring 20 of his 30 points after Bo Horvat showed up. Sebastian Aho was in second place with 10, followed by Ryan Pulock with 10. But Sebastian Aho missed 2 weeks due to an injury. It took 2 weeks for Ryan Pulock to finally catch up to Sebastian Aho. And I still think right now, Sebastian Aho is that bridge to Samuel Bolduc. I think Samuel Bolduc is eventually going to be that left-handed defenseman that the Islanders want full-time, unless there's a solid trade coming, which I don't think there needs to be. But for me, Sebastian Aho's offense has picked up. So is Noah Dobson's offense also picked up after the arrival of Bo Horvat. I agree. But if you're really going to work on it, it's got to be done during training camp. Now, I'm not talking about pairing. I'm not talking about pairing. I need to see Sebastian Aho and Noah Dobson continue to put up the points that they were putting up when Bo Horvat showed up. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking strictly offense here. Ryan Pulock needs to go back to his 10-point power play seasons. That's what he needs to do. That all comes together, boys and girls. Breakout. Breakout. Oh, my bad. Yeah. Typical, tippable. Don't even know if that's a word. Wristers for Horvat, Lee, anybody who's posting up front. Our 7th D right now, I'm going to go with Samuel Bolduc. I think it's Sebastian Aho's to lose right now. And again, and this is the other funny thing right now, boys and girls. They haven't made another move yet for another left-handed defenseman. I wonder why. I wonder if my little theory of the scoring defenseman and the Islanders' record has something to do with that. Again, for those of you who are new to the show, I usually think outside of the box. Basically, when the Islanders score 2 points or more, when the Islanders' defense scores 2 points or more in the game, their win-loss ratio is basically 2-1. For the entire season, it's 2-1, if not more. So, does it mean they need more offense from the forwards? Yes, to a degree. But at the same time, when you get that offense from your forwards and you get that offense from your defensemen, you're looking at the Carolina Hurricanes. So, again, July 19th, 2023, I'm looking at a baseline of 94 points for this team. Are the New York Islanders better than 94 points? As of this conversation, I'm going to go yes. I'm going to go yes. I don't think this is going to be a middle of the pack team. I don't think this is going to be a middle child of the Eastern Conference this season. $245 goals is a baseline right now. Could I see the Islanders score more than 245? Yeah. Can I see the Islanders giving up around 215 goals? Sure. Vince Dunn's still not signed. I'd love to get him. Lou said he was going to make trades. I think that's what you're down to. You're down to making trades. That's it. And you weren't going to get that consistency, Sean, because the offense was injured. Barzell, Palmieri, Wallstrom, you name it. You had injuries like that. Thank God you had the ageless wonder in Zach Parise back then. And again, folks, this is 245 goals, and I have not included Zach Parise or Oliver Wallstrom in this. They're not in my lineup right now. Pierre Engvall, here we go. Pierre Engvall, I'll bring this as an example. Over the last 3 seasons, he's averaged over 13 goals. I think Pierre Engvall is going to score more than 13 goals on this team. Hudson Fasching, 10 goals. I think Hudson could probably do a little more. Matthew Barzal's been averaging 15 goals the last 3 years. Time for him to score a few more. And I'm not even adding Wallstrom to this list. You know what? I'm all right with that. Because again, it's July 19th. I have not looked at the other NHL teams. I try to enjoy my summer as much as I can. I have not looked at the other Metro Division teams. I haven't even looked at the other Eastern Conference teams yet. I'm just saying right now, as a baseline, for me to start this NHL season for the Islanders, do I think this is a team that's better than 94 points? Yeah. Yeah. Bearing a plague, and this is the absolute bare minimum, 94 points. Do I think they're better than a 94 point team? Yes. Yeah, Barzell needs quite a few more goals, no doubt. I like this optimism. 20 goals for Enval. Who knows? Enval with Nelson and Palmieri on that second line. Thoughts on Tatar? Ah, my thing is right now, is Zach Parise going to come back? That's the one thing I need to know. Is Zach going to come back? And who? It sounds like Parise might be hanging it up. Okay, I don't know yet. We don't know yet. Should we get an answer soon? Probably. Probably. But again, even if Zach doesn't come back, the Islanders have enough time to fill that left wing spot. Brian, I agree with you on this one. I've spoken to a couple of Ranger fans. They're season ticket holders, and they're actually Ranger fans you can have a hockey conversation with. They're all like, you may have just gotten yourself a steal in Gaucher. They said and again, he kind of fits the Islanders' theme of a breakout season. I can tell you right now, Gaucher for his career, he's an 8 goal per season guy. And he just scored 9 last season. Question is, where do you want to put him? Where do you want to put him? Do you let, if Wahlstrom comes back healthy, you've got Wahlstrom, you've got Hudson Fasching, and you got Cal Clutterbuck. Maybe you let Gaucher, again, have him fill in for Wahlstrom for a little while. Have Gaucher learn the system while he's here. And then when he's ready, let it go. Yeah, they did not have a bad thing to say about him. Do I think he's going to score 20 goals? No. With this team, do I think he can score more than 5 over the last 3 years that he scored? Yeah. This is what I'm trying to talk to you guys about. Gaucher, the last 3 seasons, he's averaged 5 goals. Boys and girls, he can do more than that on a regular role here on the Islanders. Again, we're going to stick with this theme. Let's think with this theme right now. Gaucher for Clutterbuck, Wahlstrom for Palmieri. Who's going to replace Zach Parise? Folks, this is also a bit of a transitional time for the Islanders. And again, I'm going to be writing this up. We're going to be I'll have it out by Sunday, but my core Islander piece is going to be coming out on Sunday. It's changing with Bavilli and Bailey no longer here. And again, it's more outside of the box when it comes to core players. I just don't have 5 or 6 players because it doesn't work like that. So check that out on Sunday when that's ready. Yeah, no, Clutter, again, the theme is going to be breaking out, but it's also going to be part of a goodbye. The identity line is going to be around for this season. For how long, we don't know. We have to see how far training camp takes us, right? And again, the identity line for the playoffs, that's what I want. I want the identity line there for the playoffs. But again, there's no need to rush back Wahlstrom. There's no need to rush in Gaucher. The Islanders literally have themselves set up right now, July 19th. They have themselves up, they have themselves set up very well entering training camp right now. He's actually, Andreoff went off to Sabir in the KHL. Money. Well, again, you're going to have the salary cap going up roughly 4 million next season. Okay. If Palms does not have a great season, Wallstrom succeeds Palmieri, you can buy up Palmieri's contract. It would be 2 years. Then you're saving yourself, let's just have fun. A grand total of $6 million. You can do that. I agree. Again, training camp's really going to discover, where everybody is. But looking at the numbers right now, coming up with baselines for this team, yeah, I have reason to be optimistic because some of these baselines were pretty low to begin with. But when I see the baseline number as a team very, very close to the overall average of all these players at their absolute best, and there's room for improvement, that's why I say breakout. There can be a couple of players over the last 3 years who have not done well. They can all improve on those numbers and then look out. And they're younger players too. They're younger players, and this is what we're starting to see. So the breakout here, and this is why I love talking to you guys about this. A breakout season can also mean a transition from some of the older players to the new players, but some of these newer players are going to be very close to moving up on the rise. So for me, I'm going to be very interested to see what these kids can do. I think you're going to see that. I do. I play the best. I'm tired of these guys never losing their spot in the lineup. I agree with that. I agree with that. Lou's going to have to make a decision. I think Lane Lambert did that with Josh Bailey last season. I think he did that. I think Lane Lambert may have to do that again. But again, it's for the older players to lose at this point because now they know there's a lot of pressure. They know it's coming. Again, like Gaucher, I love Gaucher because Gaucher was he had enough grooming in the American Hockey League. He won a Calder Cup. Hudson Fasching has done his time in the American Hockey League as well, doing very well there as well. And now we saw what he did. So I like what Lou has done so far in giving these guys who have marinated in the American Hockey League, giving these guys their chance to come up and really show what they can do at this point. And that's what I'm going to have fun watching this year to see if these kids can really blossom. And that includes Oliver Wahlstrom. 25 goals. I'm okay. I'm all right with that. 25 goals. But I want to see Horvat do 30. If you're going to play with Matt Barzal, I want to see 30 goals. Minimum. But at the same token, if you're going to play with Bo Horvat, I want to see 20, 22 goals out of Matt Barzal. I think I'm with Brian on this one. Where was this one? Was it 20, 25 goals you said, Brian? And 80 some odd points? I'm all right with that. That's what I would want to see. I noticed our D moved up and down in ice time too. Yes, I think Lambert has shown he goes with the hot hand. And that's what I was going with before. Sebastian Aho and Noah Dobson, believe it or not, they were hot hands on offense. So if Lambert can find the right defensive pairing to start the season and let those kids run with it, absolutely. Sebastian Aho is another Hudson Fasching. He's another Julian Gaucher. He's 26, 27, but he's starting to get it together. 30 goals from Barzy. Damn. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, those are Doug Waite numbers. I mean, putting Barzy on the wing for 30 goals, that's optimism. That's a lot of optimism. I like it. but I don't know. Yeah, I'm more in line this line. 25 goals, 80 points. I'm all right with that. There's nothing wrong with raising the bar here, folks. Won't Horvat and Lee both be interfering in front of their net of the net? Yes. You want traffic in front of the goalies, the opposing goalies. Yes. That's exactly it. Or you know what I would really love to see? Anders Lee set up in the corner and do a tic-tac-toe. Barzal to Horvat to Lee, and Lee just shoves it right in. Bingo. Done. I can see that happening. Tic-tac-toe play. Why not? Oh, look, if Matt Barzal discovers a trigger finger and he can shoot it, God love you, Matt. I want to see it. That's fine. Yeah. And now he's got Bo Horvat and he's got Anders Lee, 85 points. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I do in July, folks. I try to create a baseline for the Islanders in terms of their numbers over the last 3 seasons. I do take their overall, what they've done, each player in their careers. Um, Again, it's only July 19th. I don't know if the Islanders are going to make a trade. Um, I've been told this before, and well, let's put it this way: I was given the impression that the only way a player like JG Pageau was going to get traded was if Matt Barzal wanted to go back to the center position. So leave your thoughts in the comments section. Should Matt Barzal go back to the center position, or would you rather see him stay on the right wing side with Bill Horvat? But yeah, JG Pageau, if he gets traded, it's only because Matt Barzal wants to be a center again. So again, getting a winger would make sense. Uh, is it still possible? Sure, but you know, JG Pageau also has a 16-team no trade list that kicked in last season, July 1st, 2022. So it is up to Pageau for a little bit, but again, we'll see what happens. But this coming season, 245 goals is a baseline. Again, I haven't added Oliver Wahlstrom to this thing. I haven't added Zach Parise yet. Okay, Barzy stay on it to start the season. Right, right, and that's the point I'm trying to make here, boys and girls. It's the same goal total, pretty much as last season, and Lou has plenty of time to fix that during the season. All right, so let's have fun here. Let's say you take down Ross Johnson, send him down to Bridgeport. You know how many goals he's averaged the last 3 years? One. One. One goal. You move him over, you put Oliver Wahlstrom in there, and you use Gaucher for now as an extra forward until Clutterbuck gets injured. You are still adding 10 goals to this team. So you're looking at 255 goals. And that's what the players playing their averages from the last 3 seasons. 255. And I'm not even adding Parise yet. Trading Brock after another solid season. No, I don't. Because even if Brock comes down to like 17, 15 goals, he'd still be a useful third line centerman for much longer. For a much longer term. The question is, would the Islanders be around? Who would be next ready to be the second line center? It would probably be Barzal. I think at that point, if Brock Nelson goes down, to a third line center when he's ready for that in his career. You can move Barzell back down to the second line center. You can still trade Pajot for a decent top six forward or somewhere in there, and do something like that. But again, folks, July 19th, 245 goals. That's a baseline. I think the Islanders can do better than 245 goals. I think the goaltending and the defense, I still think they can give up around 215 goals, maybe no more than 225. No more than 225. But again, 18 goals. They've given up 18 goals the last two seasons in empty netters. If they can cut that out, mwah. And then you're looking at 94 points as a baseline from the last three seasons. I think they're better than 94 points. You guys, all right. I'll say this with Tarasenko. I've been nice. I've been good. I've been keeping my mouth shut on Tarasenko. I do know Tarasenko is trying to stay in New York. Now, that could mean the Devils. That could mean the Rangers. That could also mean the Islanders. Okay? Knock it off. I saw the grin right here. Okay? Saw the grin. Don't worry about Tarasenko yet. Will Salo ever get another look? Or should Lou have feelers out? You know what? It's on Robin Salo. Robin Salo did not do anything to get himself back in the NHL. He didn't. If that's another player who needs to step his game up, it's Robin Salo. He's got all the potential. Tarasenko is injury prone. That's true. Troy Terry. Troy Terry is an interesting case. Troy Terry on the third line would look really good. But again, if the Islanders are going to do anything in the free agency, there has to be a trade. And unless Matt Barzal, and again, this is just this is the impression that I was given. Unless Matt Barzal wants to go back to center this upcoming season, I don't see how J.G. Pajot gets traded. There's that. You guys have got, boys and girls have got to realize that once these players reach Long Island, they don't want to go anywhere. They really don't. They don't want to leave. They love playing here. But at the same time, and I kind of agree with Brian here, and Brian, Matt, Stroh, I do agree with a few of you. It's time to raise the bar a little bit. There's no more middle of the pack. There's no more middle child here. I think the Islanders absolutely need to raise their standards. And I think that's something with what Matt Barzal said before. They don't want to just get into the playoffs by like games 81, 82. I think they want to be in the playoffs by like, say, game 65, game 70. Okay? I think that works. I will respectfully disagree, Robin. I think Tarasenko would absolutely be a great fit. Well, you know what? I'm going to take that back, Robin. If Barry Trotz was still coaching this team, yes, I would say Tarasenko would be an excellent fit because Tarasenko did wonderful under Craig Berube. And Berube and Trotz were similar coaches. I don't think Lane Lambert's that same coach, but we'll see what happens. Again, I don't think Tarasenko's coming anytime soon unless Matt Barzal wants to play center. And it's, again, Lou has said this before. It's got to, a hockey trade has to be made first. Will it be done now? It doesn't have to be. Will it be done at training camp? Maybe. We'll find out. But that's it for the Islanders, boys and girls. That's what I do middle July. I usually try to take a little time off, roughly 3 weeks, and then I'll get into the other teams. I'll get into the other Metro teams first, and then I'll do the Eastern Conference, and then I'll even touch on the Western Conference every now and then. If we're just eyeballing the Metro, I don't see Philadelphia as a threat. I think Columbus will be better, but I don't think they're going to be a threat this coming season. Washington might be a threat if they stay healthy. Pittsburgh, I'm not confident in. Carolina's been a dominant regular season for the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know if they can hold on to that. I'm waiting for Carolina to come down a little bit now. New Jersey, I think, is going to be up there, and the Rangers right now, boys and girls, I'm not going to lie, the Rangers are the biggest question mark. I have Ranger fans who believe that they could make the playoffs. I've got other Ranger fans saying they're not going to make the playoffs. You want to talk about a middle child right now? I think that's the Rangers right now. I think the Rangers are literally that middle child. They don't know where they're going. Yeah, I agree with that on Tarasenko. I think he might be, especially in Lane Lambert's system. Yeah. Nylander. I don't know about that. No, and I will say this. I can almost confirm this. I know Toronto wants Noah Dobson for Nylander. Almost every trade begins with Noah Dobson. That's the other stickler. You know, Chris Terry, I believe, is back in Bridgeport. Yes. Yes, and I do. Yeah, I do agree with that, Stro. Bridgeport needs another AHL veteran or two signed, preferably on the defense to help out Skark. So, okay, we'll stick with a little Toronto moment here. Kipriel saying Austin Matthews close to a new contract, 13.5 per. Can't decide on the term. Okay. I would only go 4 years. 3 years, 4 years, and then go from there. But boys and girls, that's it for Isles Talk here. Thank you for coming on. Again, these are baselines. They're plus or minus. Do I think the Islanders right now on paper, are they better than 94 points? Yes. Is 245 goals achievable with this team, even without Wahlstrom and Parise on this team? Yes. Oliver Wahlstrom, for me, I think he's going to be a big key to this upcoming season. If he can get it all together, look out. If the defense continue their scoring with Bo Horvat here, look out. If the Islanders are not a 94-point team, where are they? That's what I'm going to find out over the next couple of weeks when I go over the rest of the Metro. Look, was it more of an optimistic show? Yes. Should you be optimistic? Yes. I think you absolutely should. This is. I don't think they're the middle child this year, and I think Oliver Wahlstrom's going to be a big key for all of this. And I think Sebastian Aho, if he stays, I think he's going to be a bigger role. And watch out for Samuel Bolduc. I think he's going to slip in there as well. He's going to really improve the overall scoring on the defense as well once he gets his chance. And again, boys and girls, if Matt Barzal wants to play center, that's when JG Pageau probably would get traded. But yeah, catch up on all that. It's basically everything we did before. But again, am I semi-excited? Sure. Is it July 19th? Absolutely. But, join us again next week. I'm thinking about going fish sticks next week. Okay. We're going to go back in time. We're going to celebrate the Islanders' 50 years. We're going to go over, the 90s again, and we may talk fish sticks. I'm going to see who I can bring on, and we'll go from there. And again, we're going to take your questions, comments, concerns. Again, it's July. We're going to have a little bit of fun, and we'll go from there. Love you guys. So, all right, everybody, boys and girls, Enjoy the rest of your week. Let's go Islanders. And don't forget to take a look at Isles Talk on Sunday when I write about the core, the new core, and the changing core of the New York Islanders this year and moving forward. So that'll be on ilestalk.com. Don't forget also to follow Isles Talk on Twitter at Isles Talk. Isles Talk is also on Facebook. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. So everyone, thank you again for coming on. Let's go Islanders, and we'll see you next week.